There we go. In the middle of painting this house here, or painting inside of this apartment anyway. Done painted the bathroom. Getting the ceiling and walls here, now I'm gonna do the trim later. As I started working, they're messing with me with that system again, they're worried to talk to me. You know, if you don't know anything about the system, right, and haven't ever experienced it, when you first experience it, it almost makes you think you're going crazy. But if you don't drive you crazy first, you wind up finding out, you know, that somebody's fucking with you. But I figure I'd go ahead and talk, leave the camera on, talk while I get some work done. But I've come to a couple realizations here lately. A lot of people collecting benefits under my name and I don't even know how to get to them yet. Just Native American benefits. In which I found out from my Aunt Rhonda Ray that my great-great-grandma was a full-blooded Cherokee. I never knew that. I never knew anything about my ancestors above my grandparents. And I didn't know much about them at all. They all passed away at an early age, which now is starting to become more and more suspicious to me. Everybody's been passing away at an early age here recently. But, and that's why my mom never told me about my ancestors, sharing signs, because of the benefits. It was always kept a secret. There's always been a lot of secrets in my family. And my in-laws too. But my mom's a piece of shit, Sharon Science. She goes by Sharon K. Bigloski also. And they took all my benefits of my inheritance and started some businesses. And then started doing some illegal shit on top of that. Yeah, I went to the U.S. Census. Or not, what is it, U.S. Bureau, Census Bureau, United States Census Bureau. And someone on this system told me that's where I needed to go to get some evidence or some proof that things weren't right because I'm being politically blocked. The reason why I'm being politically blocked is because even the government's collecting on my benefits. There's a lot of people collecting on my benefits, and this is how it goes. I have Indian in both sides of my family. I have Indian on my dad's side of the family, which is my grandpa Sines, and I have Indian also on my grandpa's side of the family, which is grandpa grandma's, which is my great grandma there on that side. So what's going on is people's double collecting on my benefits. I never knew anything about it all. Well, so wild, man. Sharon never told me anything about it. You know, I caught her one time making a list of names of my relatives, and when I asked her about it, she acted real funny about it and shit. But she's back with a guy that molested my sister. His name is James McClanahan. Now tell me if this ain't wild. James McClanahan, when my grandma died, my grandpa sold his house on Dayton Road. Well, James McClanahan and a few other people that I know are living in, they own that house now and are living out there in the country at 3997 Dayton Road. What's even more wild is a bunch of people that I've known growing up have moved out there recently. People that Mikey Thomas Jr. know, my brother-in-law, and that I know are living all along Dayton Road. Everybody has to move in a little bit. My grandma's name is Joyce Hankey. They have her posted as being alive, and they changed the last name to Joyce Harkey, Harke. 84. She died 15 years ago. They got her being 84 years old, living at 3997 Dayton Road. Same as they got my father, which he passed away quite a while ago. They got him living out there, Don Science. They're faking their deaths, but they're also killing people at the same time. or put women into submission by using the prison press hand. They'll hit the women with that fake death shit, that insurance scam, illegally marrying after someone steals someone's identity. Well, they'll talk people into it, like Layla and Misty and quite a few other people. Well, they'll talk them into doing the insurance scam, talking about you won't never get caught, and they have the women do it, like Melinda. She thinks she's a madam or something. They'll have the women talk the other women into doing it, and as soon as they do it, either the guys or Garmin from fucking the political side will smash down on them. About, oh shit, yeah, we got you. You know, you can go to prison for long ass time. It's called a press hand. And they're like, well, unless you do what we tell you to. They'll be like, all you gotta do is fuck around with one of us, or fuck around once or twice. And when they talk them into doing that, there'll be video recording, and the ladies won't know. So then, and they probably have better luck with women that have kids, children, or a husband, you know, a family. So they talk them into, they blackmail them with the insurance scam, or prison, or, you know, jail. And they talk them into doing something sexual. Well, after they do something sexual, and then they'll say, oh, we got video evidence. We'll fucking, we'll tell your husband, or show your kids, or post it on the internet, unless you do what else we tell you to. And it just leads on from there, you know. Next thing will be they'll have the woman fuck with kids or something, just like Melinda. Well, anyways, go to the U.S. Census Bureau. Look up my name, Donald Sines Jr. Look up Donald Sines Sr. Look up Melinda goes by Melinda Sines, Mindy Fleming, Minnie F. Thomas, Minnie. It's crazy, man. Look up Sharon K. Hankey or Sharon Hankey, U.S. Census Bureau. Sharon Hankey, 1,700,000 people. Named Sharon Hankey. They sell their identities on the internet. Melinda has sold my identity, her identity, her mom's identity. Her mom got a neglect of an MRDD person in a suspicious death case with a 7-year open investigation. She didn't get charged with nothing, and that charge is gone. By law, that charge has to stay on there for 7 years. Either charge, find the person guilty, or leave it on there for 7 years. Because something was suspicious about the death when they first came and investigated it at the MRDD, at the in-home health patient thing. Well, yeah, it's ridiculous. I caught Melinda up. I come home one night, my back door was wide open. I asked her what was going on, she couldn't answer right. She said that dogs out, the dogs were inside. She's stuttering and shit. I played it off like it's cool. I set up a recorder. A couple weeks later, I listened to it. She was on there messing around with kids, Sean, his friend Dustin Norton, a bunch of different guys coming in. And Sean put that blackmail game down on her, probably, I'm not sure. First found out what she was doing, affecting my benefits. Because what I didn't know until I found I found a box of papers at her mom's desk, which I may post a video. Illegal tax papers, because one of them worked at H&R Block. And her mom had a bunch of funeral pamphlets of my family and shit. I found out they're in the devil worshiping. Fake funeral ledgers, all types of shit. But also they had a bunch of out-of-state W-2s for Louisville, Kentucky, and a bunch of different states, and my name and my sister's name. And I just found out why. Because they're collecting them benefits in other states, and people are using my identity. But Melinda's working in home health care, and I think they're killing these MRDD patients and using their identities. And the wild thing is, they fuck with me on this system quite a bit. I hear shit. Some people that are good people try to give me clues and hints here and there. They're, in their theory or motto is, they'll tell me a little hint, and then I'll say, well, I can't say nothing. I ain't cut like that. I can't snitch. What's my theory is, man, that snitching shit, that's how you take advantage of somebody. You tell somebody that they can't say nothing, or snitches get stitches, or yeah, for me to raise my kids, I'll tell my kids if somebody's hurting someone else or they're trying to get you to do something wrong, you come and tell me. Don't never let nobody tell you to snitches get stitches or that there's some reason that you can't tell somebody something. You can tell anybody any fucking thing you want, period. But, so Melinda's, I did some other investigating and research, and I know that a couple of ladies Melinda worked with at one address, she has their address down. She's got 4 of the places on her credit report as mailing addresses. 4 of the places she works at and takes care of clients at their home. There's one on Cherokee, there was a Phyllis and an Edie. Well, the ways of the devil worshippers is one moves up, one moves down to sell an identity, or if you need identity because you're a criminal. So like Lisa Thomas would take her mom's name, which was Frances Wolf, and Lisa become Lisa Ann Wolf. Melinda would become her mom, and then they would sell, Patience would become Melinda, and they would sell Patience's identity, which Patience signs, engaged signs on the U.S. Census Bureau, hit big boy numbers too. Millions. Melinda, in that box of paperwork, Melinda's mom had a little tablet in there with a bunch of stuff about the Bible. And at first, back then, I thought it was just Bible stuff. But I got to looking at it here yesterday, and it don't seem to be correct. It seems to be like some devil worshiping shit. I was like, what the hell does this mean? Which I'll post that on there. But yeah. So after I caught Melinda on the recordings, I confronted her with the recording. She ran out the house, looking over her shoulder. She said, if you listen anymore, you won't never be with me again. I tried to talk to her about it. She wouldn't talk to me about it. Finally, she breaks down. She says, well, if you go to mental health, I'll let you, which she had the kids. She took the kids. She says, if you go to mental health, I'll let you see your children. Just make sure you're okay in the head and you ain't gonna go off on the body. So, all right, man, I agreed with it. Well, when I went to mental health, little did I know, after the lady talked to me, she went and talked to her mom, and my mom, and they told them I was hearing things, that I was listening to recordings that wasn't nothing but static, and that I was going crazy in the head. Well, a lady comes in without telling me that at first. She comes in, she says, you know, maybe you just need to go upstairs for a couple of days and relax your brain and take a break, and, you know, we'll let you out of here Monday. I said, all right, man, you know, that might be a good idea, just relax, I ain't so stressed. I went upstairs, and the next thing I know, I got out Monday morning, they had me labeled as a paranoid schizophrenic with bipolar tendencies, because they thought that I was listening to recordings that wasn't real and that I was worried, which they were very real, in which I found out a couple things here recently. I heard that Melinda and her family and Sharon, see, they're all collecting them benefits, and I wasn't ever supposed to find out. I did. So now they all got their bags to me. And I believe their plan is to murder me or set me up for the murders that they're doing. Well, and this is real, man. Well, so she as soon as I got out from mental health, I confronted her about the shit again. And so as soon as I said something, first thing her mom and her dad said was, oh, you're a mental health case, go, you gotta go. And he called the police on me. Every time I tried to talk to them, they'd call the police. That was their plan, use mental health, because if they could get me to go to mental health, then they could use that as a card. Well, me and her Uncle Brian get into it. Brian Thomas or Brian France, whatever the fuck it is. They use both names. They got aliases. Everyone in their family uses aliases. Well, I get on his website and I see a picture of her grandma dated after her funeral pamphlet says she died. So I'm guessing, pretty sure that Melinda killed one of them ladies and put her grandma's name under that lady's name, and maybe even use that lady's body, and she has her grandma using that identity. I know one thing for a fact I'm not wrong about. I'll post it as a picture of her grandma after she supposedly passed away. Well, Melinda worked me, man. They tried to get me to do something stupid. They figured I'd either kill myself, which I did try to kill myself once, man. I think God saved my life. They was hoping that I would try to kill myself or go off and kill one of them. They was playing like a game of Russian roulette, you know. Well, I know her lawyer plays a big part of all this too, Wendy Cushman, because her lawyer handed me my my divorce papers herself, and I found out right afterwards she was never supposed to hand me my papers. They're supposed to be served by an officer. And Debbie Burchett's in on this just as well, because Debbie Burchett's a good friend with my aunt who married Teresa Arnold. And they politically blocked me. They watch me through my TV, all of them do. Well, her lawyer hands me a divorce packet at my TPO, which, okay, this is what happened. Melinda, she did the mental health thing. I know her lawyer told her that if you get him in mental health, we'll use that against him, we'll shoot for TPO and divorce, she said, and I know she told her, says, you gotta leave with the kids, don't answer the phone, no matter what. When he says something stupid, leaves a text message, something stupid, we'll take it to TPO. I know that's what she said, because that's what she did, in hindsight, it's a perfect plan. Melinda and my mom took off with the kids for a whole weekend. I'm with my kids every single day. I kiss them and tuck them in every night. Their dad did. Well, I raised my kids more than anyone in the family put together. Well, which I got videos, and I'll be putting more videos on the website, on my page. Well, they took the kids, man. Yeah, I mean, every day, man, I'm a father, a good father. My kids ain't nowhere where I don't know where they're at. Well, my mom, and the kids, she took the kids to a hotel out of town without telling me. I'm calling, where are you at? It's nighttime, they ain't been home, ain't called me, ain't nothing. She ignored me. She never answered the phone. So on the second day or third day, I started getting pissed. I started threatening. One of the threats was, I said, you know what, I'm gonna take your whole fucking family out. I said, before I make my list, when I make my list, before I get started, I'm gonna take my kids' lives so they can go to heaven, and then I'm gonna take your whole fucking family out. That way, they can't be taken advantage of by anyone else in your family that I don't get a chance to kill. Man, her and her lawyer was just waiting for that. Monday morning, soon as they called it, or got a TPO, went down, got a TPO on me, talking about I was gonna kill my kids. That's how they made it sound. She committed perjury in the TPO, for one. And the TPO magistrate plays a part of this too, because he lied. He's on record lying. He looked at the paperwork where she committed perjury. Didn't do nothing about it. I didn't have no lawyer. I was left high and dry. Melinda didn't leave me with nothing when she kicked me out of her house. I mean, it's almost a perfect plan, you know. I'd almost say it's, you know, and as far as what they're doing, it'd be the perfect, what's that show? How to Get Away with Murder? You know? You want to know how to do that, just ask the Thomases. But they got a lot of shit going. They use that blackmail shit, put these women into prostitution and make them do things that they want them to do. And it'll surprise you who all plays a part of this. If you're watching, your wife or your girl might be involved and you don't even know. They got a group big enough too, because it's not only just a prostitution ring, but there's devil worshippers also, and it's statewide. Well, anyways, they'll be acting like they're going to work and they won't go to work, and they'll still get paid through the prostitution ring. Well, oh yeah, what I was saying earlier, I was trying to get to was that, that's what I've heard from a couple of people. I heard that, they're going around telling people that because of my charge years ago, which I was set up on, I got proof on that too. Because of my charge years ago, they were going to drive me crazy, and that the recordings wasn't real. That's what a couple of people told me. So yeah, they're telling people that they're trying to drive you crazy because of that charge from years ago, and that the recordings weren't real. For one, it was my recorder that was hidden. For two, they were very real, because in hindsight, like I said, hindsight's 20/20. In hindsight, Dustin Norton was stopping by every other day, like when the car wasn't there, wondering who was there, but he'd ask for a cigarette. Back then, I didn't think it was nothing, because, he's Steven's friend growing up. I figured he was just in town, needed a cigarette or whatever. But in hindsight, I see exactly what was going on. Not only that, but someone said that they said that I had touched my own daughter sexually. Yeah, okay. I ain't on that shit. I ain't no fucking pedophile. What they're doing is they're scapegoating. They're making shit up so that they can get away with what they're doing. And when I go to say something, they already got me looking like I'm crazy because I went to mental health. And that's so fucking wrong, Melinda, because she's like, we'll work things out if you go to mental health. I'm thinking, for the kids, I'll do anything. She's talking about we'll work things out if I go to mental health. As soon as I get out, she smashes the gas on me. I'm gonna wind up killing the Thomases, for real, for what they're doing, because the police won't help me here. Will I be wrong, since I'm labeled a fucking mental health patient now? And look at this, her mom's neglect of an MRDD person. This suspicious death case, Duke died. Melinda's neglecting me. That's what they do, is take advantage of fucking mentally handicapped people. For real. Now also, here's a good question. If that's what they're running around telling people, is that they're trying to drive me crazy because of that charge from years ago, and then them recordings aren't real. Okay, that charge was in 2009. This is 2018. Why would you wait 9, 10 fucking years later, 9 or 10 years later, while during the last 9 or 10 years, I've been babysitting the kids, babysitting my niece, my nephews, babysitting all kinds of kids, watching them all. They stay the nights with me all the fucking time, man. They love their Uncle DJ and their dad. And everyone in the family, and even people not in my family, are watching me through that system in the TV where I posted that picture of Melinda watching me split screen over there at the other house with my curtains. On my side, my room's dark, but you can see my curtains and the light fragments coming through. Well, I took a picture of the curtains and then lined the two photos up, the one Melinda watching me in split screen and a picture of my curtains, and the light fragments add right up. She's watching me in my house through a TV. Like I said this whole time. Yeah, Sharon's a piece of shit, man. Sharon K. Viglovsky. I think she sold that name for more than one of the clients, or one of the patients, I'm pretty sure that's what one of the big things they do, is they steal these identities from independent of living clients, patients, and nursing patients. Yes, now they awarded her the TPO. Also, while we was waiting on the TPO, the final decision, police come over here and got me and took me to jail. Said that I texted Melinda's phone and asked to speak with the kids, and told her, let's not do this, let's at least, try to get along with for the kids. They're coming through me in jail for that misdemeanor violation of temporary protection order. Now here's a good question. Melinda had me go to mental health. I got labeled paranoid schizophrenic before I made that threat. So I went to health, got labeled a paranoid schizophrenic with bipolar tendencies. And my mom went to a hotel with my kids and didn't answer the phone for 3 days, and then I threatened them. But if you think about it, isn't that what a paranoid schizophrenic with bipolar tendencies does? Is have outbursts, make statements that aren't, they're worried and or fear things, and a little bit delusional. I mean, if you know I've got a disease, a mental health problem, why would you go straight down and divorce me and get a TPO on me and take my children away from me? Why would you do that to a mental health patient? Wouldn't that be neglect and taking advantage of me also? Hasn't talked to me, hasn't spoke to me, hasn't even tried to let me say hi to the kids, or I ain't seen my kids, got to say hi to them or even hear their voice for 9 months, man. Every day I hug them and kiss them. Every day, every night. I was closer to them more than anyone in the whole family. I got videos, I'll post them. I'll show you. This ain't right, this ain't fair. Every time I try to talk to someone, I go down to the sheriff's, they bounce me to the police. Police bounce me to sheriff's. I try to talk to detectives ain't trying to talk to me. I go to Children's Services, there's this guy there, always the same guy, Thad, and was Teresa Arnold, worked at Children's Services for 20 years. Her daughter is Allison Arnold. Teresa Arnold is my aunt through marriage. Her daughter, Allison Arnold, changed her name to Lola Griffin, and then had everybody posted her fucking face that her account was fake, so that it could get erased on Facebook. So Allison Arnold became Lola Griffin. Griffin is her mom's maiden name. She's over 18, Allison is 22, 23. She's over, and she got her mom's maiden name now. How do you do that? You can only do that if you marry back into your family. Well, listen here. James Mundy was shot and killed unsolved homicide on Rice Street. Shot in the head, killed on the right corner of Rice Street. As soon as that happens, Allison Arnold gets her name changed to Lola Griffin, moves out of state to Maryland, buys her own house, starts her own business selling drug edibles. Sells drug edibles. Well, Teresa Arnold, her mom, is the leader of the FOA, which is a drug prevention program organization. And she has Debbie Burchett, our sheriff, come out there and speak all the time. There's videos of it on Facebook. So she's best friends with Debbie Burchett, our sheriff. And she's still cool with her daughter. She's a drug prevention leader. Her daughter sells drugs and is involved in a suspicious murder case also. Now, I know they're doing insurance scamming. So everybody probably puts insurance on these people. They've got so much going on that they ain't fucking funny, man. And the thing is, they got my children in the middle of this shit, and I can't get any help politically. They set me up with the police. I know I got a good lawsuit, and anybody that watches this video, I'm gonna put on here the video of me being pulled over and having my vehicle illegally seized. Me and Melinda's married at the time. I had my buddy driving me because I didn't have a license. Melinda and her mom and dad set me up. That's right before the TPO thing, when we was arguing. A couple weeks before she went and got the TPO, we were arguing. She kept kids from me for a few days. Now I told her, I said, you know, why the fuck you keep my kids away from me? You can't keep my kids from me. I want to see them now. She said, well, you meet me and my mom and my dad and the kids at McDonald's up the Valley Pike and you can see them for a little bit. Okay. So I go up there. As soon as I go in they're acting like I'm a threat. And see what it is? They got my kids fucking brainwashed and starting to hate me because Melinda's sitting clear over there in the back. Her mom's sitting over there. Her dad's sitting over there, and the kids are sitting at the table. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? And what they're doing is they're portraying shit like it ain't. They're tricking my children. They're a lying piece of shit, motherfucking low life trash is what they are. So I started crying. I left McDonald's. I told my dude, like, come on, man, let's just roll. As soon as we pulled out of there, got pulled over by a German Township police officer. He was in a car and didn't have no brake lights. I asked if I could check out the fuses while he runs the RIDs. He says, yeah. I looked, all the wires are clipped behind the brake pedal. Her brother thinks he's a mechanic. Clipped all the electrical wires behind the brake pedal. Just slice them right now, like with scissors. And then they set me up. So as he's running our ID, here comes this guy, and a plain vehicle pulls up, jumps out, he's got plain clothes on, comes over my car, didn't identify himself as an officer, didn't say anything to me about being police or nothing. He illegally seizes my vehicle. I told him, I said, this was, I'm married, this is joint property. He said, I don't give a fuck, or I don't give a damn, I don't give a shit, get out now. Give me them keys, snatches the keys from me, hands them to the officer, tells the officer, tell her she can take the car. And then he makes it sound good by saying, you get a lawyer or whatever. He says, but we're trying to work this out for you, so you ain't gotta get the truck towed. You and her need to work it out. And he already told me to shut my mouth. So I'm thinking in my head, me and her work it out, we're getting divorced. This is my truck, joint property, we're married. You can't just take it, that's what I'm thinking in my head. And he says, we're being nice to you. You're out here playing around, running around. I ain't running around, I came here to see my kids at McDonald's, man. And my dude's driving, and we're parked on Taco Bell's parking lot, private property. And he pulled up an unmarked car, unmarked suit, didn't identify himself or anything. He yanked me up out of the car. That's a legal seizure. That's a couple $1 million, I believe. And he took my personal keys, gave them to her, and I asked him, I said, can I have my keys up? He gave them to her, she took off. I couldn't get in my house for a week because she wouldn't talk to me. And I couldn't get hold of my landlord. So, and all this shit, man, has got me so fucking stressed out. None of it's right. Everyone knows what's going on. Linda Cushman knows what's going on. She knows she's illegal. Melinda's married to me under the, on her credit report, she's married to me under 3 different names, 4 different names. Sons, Scions, Soins, and Sims, or some shit. And then she's married to Thomas name, which I know who it is. It's Kenneth Scott, Rhonda's old man Scott. Kenneth Scott Adams. Well, it says Scott Thomas. I researched and found out Melinda was married to Scott while she was married to me. And if you know anything about him, he was shot in the head and the chest down on the bottom of Ray Street. Luckily, he survived. And I know what it is. Melinda was married to him without him knowing. Somebody took his identity, went got ID, and went and married her out of county. I just can't find what county. And she put life insurance on me. And then they shot him. Well, so one of the names she's married to me on under our credit report, and on our credit report for each name it has a different ID number, federal ID number. So she uses them names. Well, when Linda Cushman, her lawyer, hands me my divorce packet at the TPO, she says, here, I just need you to sign this just to say you got it. It's just to say you got a copy. No, that was some bullshit. In hindsight, I found out, for one, she wasn't supposed to serve it to me. For 2, she had me sign it so that it was signed, divorce papers. It wasn't signing it for no fucking copy. She tricked me is what she did. And the thing is, it didn't have my real name on it. On the front page, it has me and Melinda Soins. Instead of Scions, S-I-O-N-S, it's Soins, S-O-I-N-S. And the paper's all fucked up. We got married in Madison County, but divorced in Clark County. So Linda knew. And on the second page, though, my kids' names, their last names was right. So, so she knows. She knows she's wrong. Well, I get to looking up our divorce on the courts, and it says Soins also. Same as our credit report. That's not a coincidence or a typo. Well, anyways, I look on there, and guess who it says served me my fucking divorce packet? What officer? It says Debbie Burchett served me my fucking divorce packet. Since when does the sheriff start serving divorce packets, for 1? And for 2, you're a lying fucking bitch. And I'm pretty sure that should be, they record down there in the buildings in the A.B. Grant building where I went for my TPO, right? That should be on there. I know it's on record, Melinda lying about shit at our TPO. That's perjury. Another crazy thing is all these illegal tax papers. What are they doing to you about that? Because I took them papers back up to the branch manager up here at that old H&R Block, and she said 90% of these papers, out of 300 papers, she said 90% of them was fake. illegal. They copied them and sent them to the IRS. What's happening there? Melinda was collecting in Ohio and Pennsylvania for us. And I know what it is. They're fucking off. They was all fucking around and they was gonna put all that shit on me. The murders, the illegal tax papers, all that shit. Yeah, there's some piece of shits, man. And see now, what they're doing is they watch me through the TV. So this whole time, what they have been doing is every time I get ready to call somebody, or I think about calling someone, or I think about doing something ahead of time, what they'll do is they'll watch me through the TV. And every time I get ready to go somewhere, they'll block me ahead of time. Sharon will call them, or Melinda will call them and be like, hey, he's a piece of shit. We're driving him crazy. He's a pedophile. He touched something. He tried to touch his own daughter, and they're fucking shutting me down in every way. And what they're doing is they're scapegoating. They're fucking lying on me so they can get away with what they're doing. Which is fucking crazy. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people involved, man. TC's baby's mom, Brandy Sowers, and her old man, they're involved. They watched me through the TV. They went down and shut me down to lawyers right before I got there. They pulled up 2 minutes before I got there and I hurried and ran inside. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then a couple weeks later, I found out that picture of Melinda watching me split screen through her device, tablet or whatever it was. And that's how Garmin's followed me 3 different times. Garmin one day, the day after he, his Lieutenant Rusty Garmin's his name. He retired from the deputy sheriff's down here not too long ago and went out to German Township and started working there as a lieutenant. Which I don't know if that's legal or not, but the day after he pulled up plain clothes and seized my vehicle, in which there's a lawsuit there. If I get anybody to help me with a lawyer, there's a big boy lawsuit. I'll make sure you get paid swell. Anyone. Well, I just need help getting a lawyer. Well, because I'm struggling to survive here. Well, Garmin the next day, Lieutenant Rusty Garmin the next day after they illegally seized my vehicle, next day I go downtown. Now I'm in my room. I already take these papers downtown where Melinda bought a vehicle I didn't know about, the registration and shit. I'm like, I'm gonna go find out about this. I'm going to the title department. So I start getting ready. I'll ride down to the fucking courthouse there. As soon as I walk in, guess who's in there doing baggage? Lieutenant Rusty Garmin from German Township. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, oh, nothing. He says, I'm being a bailiff today. They got me as being a bailiff. I said, oh. I said, well, look, I was just letting you know I didn't want no problems yesterday, man, but I got some paperwork on my wife. She's illegal, man, and I'm fighting for my children. I'm just letting you know, man, I don't want no problems, man. I ain't a bad person. He says, oh, okay. So I go in, the title department sends me to police. Police sends me to the sheriff's. Again, they keep going there. Well, anyways, when I'm walking out, I'm like, what are you doing down here? He says, man, they busted me down as a bailiff. I said, all right, later. One time I was out of the building and halfway over to the police department, that dawned on me, like, hold on, man. This ain't even his jurisdiction, Clark County. German Township's his jurisdiction. And since when did they fucking start busting a lieutenant down to a bailiff? Taking baggage, coming in the doors, door checking. No, man, he's lying. He was watching me through that TV and met me down there before I got there. 3 times he's done that to me. The Smiths, and like I said, this shit goes state to state. There's people in Texas that play a part of this game. There's a couple people in Texas that my mom recently told me was our family. Gus Hankey, Cynthia Hankey. No, all my life I ain't heard of them names. Why all of a sudden now they're someone you're mentioning now? No, my mom's a piece of shit. What she doing? Sell identities and getting people on with these benefits. And what they do is they have their name changed, which I know of 3 different people in Springfield that does name changes. Since I was young, they've been doing it. You can take one of the Mexicans, you can take a birth certificate, social security card, and they give you $500 no questions asked. I've heard of that since I was 13 years old. What they're doing is they're changing the names, but they're using the social security numbers that the benefits are under, and they're collecting in different counties or different states. Yes, it's wild. So I can't get no help politically at all. Well, anyways, look, here's the thing. I know, a lot of people know, I know for sure, about 15, 20 years ago here in town, we had a massage parlor get busted up on East High Street here in Springfield. And it was a front for a prostitution ring. Well, I don't know if it hit newspapers or not, but quite a bit of people, anyone that knew somebody anyway, knew that there was 4 or 5 people on the docket that got in trouble, got busted, that were within our court system. They were political. So it was a political prostitution ring. Well, it got swept up under the rug. Everybody knows who was running that shit. Same motherfucker that gets the plug in Springfield. The same motherfucker that gets his fucking shit from the police. Everybody knows. Well, this is the story I heard, and I heard it from a couple of people growing up. You know, there was a time when Mershons rode cars. Mershons, I guess, State Highway Patrolman pulled over one of his trailer trucks with cars on it, and they cut open. This is what I heard. They cut open the tires on the vehicles on the truck that they were towing, and found a bunch of cocaine in the tires of the vehicles. Well, I don't remember what the outcome of that was either. They got swept up under the rug. Well, this is the deal. And this was back in the day too. This is back in the day when they just started live video air. Thing was, Mershons was known as one of the leading businessmen here in Springfield. He was good friends with Deputy Sheriff Gene Kelly. I heard they was on they was at the fair or something, was on live air broadcasting. Gene Kelly was talking about cleaning up the community and doing his best to keep everybody safe, to serve and protect and serve. And Mershons was on there with him. They were friends. Well, and then not long after that is when Mershons got busted with all that cocaine. Well, the plug in Springfield anyway, is the one that was running the political prostitution ring on our end, on the Commonwealth side. That's who he get his shit from, was Mershons. And I heard the sheriff would bring it in, or let them bring it across the state line. That's how I heard it was. Well, right after Mershons got busted, Gene Kelly never associated with him anymore, not publicly anyway. But I heard they had Sunday dinner with each other every Sunday. They were like, what do they call that? Discreetly. They would be hanging out discreetly. They were friends. So, so there was a prostitution ring back in the day, 15, 20 years ago. It got busted. The front was a massage parlor. Well, I know one that's caught up in that. I believe Garmin's running the prostitution ring also. Along with the guy that's plugged in Springfield, and everybody knows who he is. And I hate to be talking shit about people or telling business. I grew up believing in the street code, You ain't never supposed to tell on nobody, snitch on nobody. But see, the thing is snitching. When you see somebody doing something, you go out your way to tell. If somebody puts a motherfucking problem in your lap, and really your only choice, your only solution is to either kill them people or get some help from the police, especially when your whole family's illegal and turn your back on you. I mean, it ain't my fault, motherfucking y'all fucking up my life. My kids are involved. They're more important than anything. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. If it wasn't for the fact that if I had one good person in my family that I could leave my kids with, I wouldn't have I went straight and killed something, which I almost did anyway. God stopped me, believe it or not. But, so, this is the deal. Melinda's on her Google search asking what's the difference between an independent contractor and a massage therapist. Bitch, you ain't studied nothing about no massage therapist your whole life. You was doing business accounting when you was supposedly online, doing online courses. How come you want to do a massage therapist all of a sudden? Because they're gonna start that shit right back up one generation later, 15, 20 years later. And Melinda's involved. What happened was she got caught on that fucking insurance scam of fake death. But there's a Melinda Signs down in Boaz, Alabama that had died. And which is wild, such a coincidence, because Jeremy Reed lives down in Boaz, Alabama. He was a friend of mine growing up. Coincidence, huh? Melinda Signs, Boaz, Alabama. Well, anyways, there's just so much that adds up. Melinda's also Google searching how to speak with someone using radio frequencies, which is what I told you, that system they had. It's on her Google search, which I'll post in videos or pictures also of her Google search. Why would you be asking that? How do you speak with someone using radio frequencies? Radio frequencies. That's how they got this system set up. I ain't figured it out all the way yet. But, it's pretty fucking wild. So I believe her brother, and this group of people, which they consider themselves a gang. They consider themselves the old West Side. Which, you know, I hung out with the crew when I was younger. I even got a little tattoo. But when I turned 18, man, I realized, you know, this shit wasn't real. So, you know, it didn't mean shit to me. I became an adult, you know. Gang shit, who needs a fucking gang? You're an adult, you know. But, they took this shit serious. Her brother, a fucking grown man, running around thinking he's a boss. That's what he calls himself, a boss. I found an old phone of my sister's too, Ronda's. And there's a conversation between her and Michael Thomas Jr. Which, that's crazy. He was Michael Thomas Jr. my whole life growing up that I've known him. Now he's going by Michael Thomas II. I don't know how that changed. But anyways, the conversation between Rhonda and him, she's got him as, it says Michael, Rhonda's boss. And which on this system, that's what they talk about. They go by, there's a boss and a boss and a boss. Which means, you know, the boss is the leader, the number one, the boss is number two. Get the fuck out. You know what it is? There's one person that made a gang. They make all these dummies think they're bosses by making them a boss of someone. You're the boss of him, you're the boss of him, you're the boss of him. No, really what it is you're following him, you're following him, you're following him. You're a bunch of fucking followers. You got fucking the dumb following the dumb. Dummy. No fucking boss. When the fuck you think you're a boss of somebody else's life? You don't understand how fucking stupid that fucking sounds. But, yeah, because even on one of them recordings, you hear somebody say, West Side, suck it. But, so, what else is crazy is, for like 6 months that me and Linda broke up, well, she acted like she's trying to work things out. My cousin Sean, one of my kids grew up calling their cousin Sean. We used to ride dirt bike together every day. My cousin Sean Fleming was living with her and her mom and my kids, and they had my kids lying to me, not telling me about Sean, their cousin, living there. I found in that box of paperwork, there's papers in his handwriting of how they was putting a beauty salon together, and how they was about to start opening a business, and how they was rearranging the house. He drew up little sketches and shit. And his handwriting, I've known him his whole fucking life. He was saying there, Sean was. Also, I got a picture where he's up in some barbershop somewhere with Fat Boy, Ronald Tipton Jr., Melinda's cousin, and Melinda's shampooing someone's hair. But they're all denying it, knowing anything about anything. And when I send her fucking family these fucking recordings, they all turn their back on me and block me and all that shit. With all them funeral pamphlets, I asked Melinda's Aunt Sandy Stumbo, hey, who's Joey Baumgartner? She says, I don't know. Who is? I don't know. Why? I said, because there's a bunch of funeral pamphlets in all these papers I found Melinda's mom had. She says, I said, it's in a funeral pamphlet. She says, all bullshit. You're making shit up. Well, you don't know who he is? She says, just shut up. You're making shit up. No, I don't know who he is. So I posted that funeral pamphlet, and David Kaysen gets hold of me a couple days later. He says, hey, man, I don't know why you posted that. Will you take that down? That's Big Mike's people. That's our cousin. That's your cousin. Well, how come Sandy didn't know about him? He died at 30 years old, at a young age. And I get to researching, and there's a Mindy Baumgartner. My wife Melinda goes by many different aliases. She uses the name Minnie, Mindy, and Melinda. Well, I need some help. I know that. I know if I can get one person to help me get a lawyer and get shit set off. I got a couple big ass lawsuits. I have a lawsuit for illegal seizure. I got a lawsuit for against Linda Cushman with the divorce papers and whatnot. I know I got a lawsuit against mental health for. I don't know about the mental health thing because see, they gave them that information. You know, I don't know if I can hold mental health liable or not. But I know I got a lawsuit against the courts, the government. Which I'll tell you what, man, the government's a piece of shit, man. I'm realizing this more and more. I became anti-government, completely anti-government here not too long ago. And I'll tell you what, man, if we could get a group of people together, as far as the Commonwealth, we could fucking tear the government down and start our own world. We don't need the government. The government's bad. That's what I come to realize. I had the document, and I took a couple pictures of Lisa Thomas's neglect of an MRDD client within a suspicious death case. It was a 7-year open investigation. They erased her charge. I went to look it up. They erased it. You cannot erase an open investigation until time's up at all, period. And Melinda, her mom, and everyone kept it a secret about that. I didn't know about that. Christina Wren told me about it. That's what made me start looking for investigating. And I found a paper at her mom's house. They erased that. How can you erase that? You're not allowed. So how many times does the government erase charges of their peoples? And I see it now. In hindsight, after seeing that, I know because their kids be getting in trouble and shit, be catching charges. You never hear about it. You never hear about the police, the judges, or anyone else's within the government. Their people getting in trouble and catching charges because they hush it. Now listen here. So I get to looking at all my cases and stuff. I found out that, okay, I sold that girl weed back in the day in 2009. And her mom made it sound like I was trying to fuck her. Which I don't hold nothing against her mom. You know, parents won't get mad about anything. But anyways, I get to looking up my case. And Michael Stitzel, German Township police officer, had lied all throughout that fucking thing and made a bunch of shit up. And I can prove it. Well, anyways, what's so crazy is this. My lawyers were involved in this shit, and I don't know how it went down, but I was looking at a parole violation because I've only been out of prison for so long when I caught that case, corruption of a minor. Well, and importuning. Well, my lawyer comes to me, he says, man, you can either wait on your parole violation, it'll take us a little while to get you out of the county and the prison. He said you'll get 6 months. He said, or you can cop out to these charges, corruption of minor and importuning, and get 6 months that way. We can get you out here right away and get you on a ride out. I'm like, well, fuck, I ain't trying to stay in the county. I'll take that, man. He says, cool. Which he already gave me my discovery packet. My discovery packet didn't have nothing in it, not even about selling weed. But I'm thinking, you know, it didn't even dawn on me what was going on. I'm thinking like, well, fuck it, you know, I ain't even gonna press the issue. I got a parole violation anyway. Fuck it, I'll just take a charge so I can get out of here. And I never thought about it this whole time until I caught my family up in some illegal shit, and they started doing what they're doing, which is to keep my kids from me. Well, anyways, I look up my charge when I started looking at everything. I looked up my charge and I seen the police report. It says that I was riding around with that girl, that I had asked her for sex numerous times, which when I asked my lawyer, I said, what's importuning? He said, it means you asked questions over and over and over again. And I figured it was about weed, you know? Well, when I read my police report here recently, it says me and her was riding around, that I kissed her 2 different times, that I asked her for sex several times. I never asked that girl for sex. For one, I didn't know how old she was. For 2, I never asked her for sex. We never rode around together like that. She got in my car one time at the mall, and I made up a little dime bag of weed, sold it to her right there. 3 minutes was in my car. He's saying that we was riding around all the time together. What he did was he stretched the case out and lied. Put a bunch of lies in there, and I didn't know that. Well, so look, so I see that, and this is at the same time that Melinda and Garmin and Brandy Sowers are all watching me through the TV, right? Well, I see that, and I'm like, oh yeah, you gonna lie? And I'm talking to myself in my bedroom. Just before I realized that Melinda's watching, they're watching me through TV. I said, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to prove this shit's wrong right here and give me a lawsuit. I says, I'm gonna take his police report, and I want my discovery packet from that case, and I'm gonna add them up. They're not gonna add up. I can show all the lies, because the discovery packet is the evidence. So I go get a glass of tea, come back, sound like, yeah, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna figure out how to get my discovery packet. So I go look up the charges. Guess what? They erased my importuning charge, and that's the one the discovery packet's on. I'm like, okay. All right, so I'm gonna prove that they erased it. I'm gonna go talk to my lawyers and ask them how do I prove this and do that, you know? So, and it was a weekend. So a couple of days later, I'm about ready to make phone calls. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna see why the fuck they erased that fucking charge. I know why they erased it, so I'm gonna prove that they erased it. I'm like, but you know what? Before I press the issue, let me make sure it ain't on there. So I go back to the fucking clerk of court's website. I get on there, and it's on there. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to it and look at it. They put my police report on the importuning charge back on there, but guess what? Everything's wrong, and I can prove it. I got arrested on Thanksgiving Day. Sharon, my mom, was pulling the turkey out of the oven as we pulled up in the driveway, and the police pulled up behind me. It was Thanksgiving Day of 2009. So November, 27th, 28th, something like that, between 24th and 28th. On the police report, it says that the offense and the date of arrest was 12/1 of 2009, December the 1st. No. And book-in records and my jail records should show that it was on Christmas or Thanksgiving Day. What they did was they re-put that fucking charge back on there because they knew I was going to prove that they erased it. Now here's the thing. Like I said, the government being as corrupt like that, corrupt as fuck, be erasing their own family's charges. What they're doing is they're keeping us down as a Commonwealth, doing whatever the fuck they want. They're above the law, and they have a bunch of secrets they keep from us. Fuck the government. Government don't apply to me. I'm telling you, I'm gonna find. Not only am I fucking Native American, I'm pretty sure that they're not allowed to apply to me while they're trying to take me to court, take my kids. How the fuck are they gonna take my kids away from me? For one. For two, they're nothing but a big ass gang. If you think about it. And this is what I'm saying, man. Who the fuck are they? They're not shit.
And I need some people to ride with me on this, for real. We can all get some money if we do it right. They have guns and they carry little bags, but they got guns and they ride around and they fuck with people. If they need some backup, they call their boys, they come running with more guns. That's a motherfucking gang. There ain't nothing different than that than the old West Side and the old Latin Kings gangs. Ain't nothing different with that. They're just a big ass organized gang. It's still, if you think about it for real, it's organized crime because they're going around pressing people, telling them they can't do this, they can't do that, and then they're blackmailing them with a record. What's the difference between somebody taking a video of somebody doing something and then blackmailing them, saying, look, we're going to tell somebody, we're going to put this on the internet if you don't do what we tell you to. Well, look, the government will catch you doing something wrong. They'll put that on a piece of paper. It's called your record. And they'll say, you can't get a job. You can't work here. You got to do what we tell you to. You got to go to jail. Who the fuck are you to put anybody in jail? Who the fuck is the government, man? And I understand you got to have law to instill order so there ain't no chaos. But you don't need that. I've come up with a better way. And I know my opinion don't mean a lot to a lot of people, but one of my solutions would be, this is the deal. Ain't the government so illegal? They're in on this money scamming shit too. They're buying up land, what they're doing. And which, if you know anything about the government, they came over here and took this land from the Indians and then marched them to Oklahoma and took this shit. Like a gang would, you know what I mean? And then formed a government. My plan would be to crumble the government, take all the land, divide it into equal parts. You give a section of land to each family name. That whole family would have to live on that land. You're allowed to visit other people's lands and whatnot. Go wherever you want, No one can control your life, but that's where you live. If someone does something wrong in your family, you have to imprison them yourself. Dig a hole in the ground, put a crate over top of it. That way, the prisoner's own family can make sure he's fed, that he still gets to see his family while taking him away from his family. And any of the neighboring neighbors can check to make sure he's locked up still. And with certain systematics set in place, there probably wouldn't be as much trouble or people breaking the law. The government does nothing but taxes people. There's a whole bunch of shit that they got going on that they don't need money for. They don't need prisons. Look what they're running around doing to me, man. My dude Ricky Hand's in prison for 40 years. I believe they set him up on a lot of that shit. Same as, look here, German Township, Michael Stitzel. He's a chief now. And I believe that's also why I'm having such hard problems with this politically, with my situation in my case. I can't get no help. It's because they know that I know about Michael Stitzel setting me up or lying on my case. And the illegal things they've been doing, re-racing charges, shit, they know I know about it. So that's why they're politically blocking me. They don't want the truth to come out, because then people will be in trouble. Michael Stitzel will definitely be one of the first ones. And he's the chief of police now. And they're trying to protect him. Well, yeah, man. It's some bullshit. Who knows? Stitzel lied on me. Stretch Case lied on me. How often do they do that? How often do they do that to people that find out that they're illegal, they're doing something they shouldn't be? like Ricky Ham was working for Mike Klein. Mike Klein does fundraisers for all